Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo 4 Żółteks only challenge. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I highly recommend you go watch them first. Anyways, I welcome you back to the world of Gran Turismo 4. Welcome back to Żółteks only challenge, a series that no one will care about now that budget fuel entries are open. Anyways, it's time to go get in my Nismo 400R, which I'll be using for Clubman Cup in all of its only R33 Skyline in the game that's Yellow Glory. And that is a proven fact actually. From what I checked, this is the only R33 that has a yellow paint option. Regardless, with all the beginner events completed, it's time to get on with Professional Series. Starting with me doing the Clubman Cup. The first race is at Apricot Hill. So let's see how I do. Starting off strong, as this car doesn't seem to struggle with wheel spin. And that fact alone allows me to easily overtake Julie Canotto's Integra. The first corner came around and I easily overtook the Clio V6, and for crying out loud, there's so many references to battle machines in this lineup. Of course, not that I really have much problems with that. Either way, Takumo and the Speedster I used to beat the Opel Speedster trophy back then have also been beaten very easily. And even though it took me a bit to catch up to it, Julie Canotto's MR2 has also been taken care of. Also, a bit off topic, but I'm pretty sure it needs to be stated that all the hatred I had for this track all the way back in episode 3 has completely worn off by this point. I mean, using common sense, it's been over a year since Battle Machine Round 4 even happened, so why would I still be mad about that? But either way, both the race and my hatred for this track have already been blown away, which allows me to earn a total of 3,000 credits for winning. The second race is at Twin Ring Motegi East. The first corner came around and I easily managed to overtake the Prelude. As for the Carlton, all I had to do is pull off this shortcut in order to overtake it, which I successfully managed to do. The same, however, cannot be said about this Lotus Elise, which downright did not want that to happen. Either way, the Eclipse holding it off allowed me to properly overtake it. As for the Clio, well, this is the east layout, so I was easily able to pull off this shortcut opportunity and overtake it that way. Seriously, how many more times am I gonna have to ride through these corners without the race being extremely easy? And keeping my first place was so easy that the biggest challenge was not falling asleep doing it, allowing me to earn another 3,000 credits. The third race is at Seoul Central Reverse. And before anybody tells me to stop being a wall-grinding sweat and play the game like I normally do, I just wanted to let you know that this is how I normally play the game. Either way, I easily overtook Terra's SRT4. Same can be said for this Opel Speedster and the Alfa Romeo GT, which I bet many of you forgot that car was even in the game. Oh, and the Elise as well. Even though the RX-7 pulled away from me, I could easily catch up to it thanks to this wall grinding technique that I did. I don't know about y'all, but I saw that opportunity as an absolute win. And I was going to show you another wall grinding opportunity you can do, but it accidentally ended up backfiring on me, as you can see. But even then I overtook the RX-7, how convenient. And then I just cruised to the finish line and beat the race. And earned another 3,000 credits on top of that. The fourth race is at Clubman Stage Route 5. Immediately I tried to catch up to and overtake the Carlton on the long corner, but only really succeeded in the catching up part. That is, until I managed to successfully overtake it on this corner along with the S2000. And the Lancer Evo 3 also stood no chance against the 400R. Same can be said for Julie Canotto's DC5 Integra, which is in the wrong color for some reason. And after taking a bit to overtake him, Terra also goes down thanks to me wall grinding these two corners. Overall, just like most of the events I play, this turns out to be easier than I expected. And if any of the haters tell me to stop doing this with all the shortcuts and wall grinds, I'm just here to remind you that this is my challenge run and I drive how I want to. Either way, I claim the gold trophy, meaning that I get to add another 3,000 credits into my pockets. The fifth and the final race is at Deep Forest. Immediately, I overtook Rosie Miranto's 190E from 500 horsepower, also making it past the car which I'm guessing is gonna be an unstoppable force in 90s nostalgia baiters, and the 147 I guess. I easily swept through the S2000, overtaking it no problem, and then finally managed to overtake 4-wheel drive Fiat Coupe from Battle Machine. And being honest, I don't think the car coming out of retirement was a good idea. I mean, it doesn't really hold up well against its competition. See, he's been overtaken. Anyways, I take the win for this race, and earned my 3,000 credits which I worked so hard to obtain. And yeah, that's Clubman Cup. Anyways, let's see what we get as a prize car, even though I already know it's not gonna be anything useful on my end. Still, it's a great reminder of what prize cars come from what events. And in classic Żółteks only challenge fashion, it has to be a car that doesn't even have a yellow paint option. Into the garage to rot away. Anyways, it seems like me doing the Clubman Cup allowed me to unlock Tahiti Maze. But let's be honest, that is completely unrelated, and you guys are only here to see me do the events. You know what? Since I haven't gone shopping for a long ass time, let's do that now. But unfortunately for me, I did not find anything noteworthy in the 80s dealership. And apart from this yellow MX-5, nah, I already have this vehicle. I did not find anything in the early 90s dealership either. God damn it, wrong button. Either way, there really doesn't seem to be much Żółteks around here. What about the late 90s dealership? Does that have anything? And even if the said dealership didn't have anything, it was still worth checking out. It actually does! Let's freaking go! As you know me, I like to do a little planning ahead, so I'm gonna buy this thing for World Compact Car Cup. Hopefully this isn't gonna be a large mistake. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, there's really nothing stopping us from instantly getting on to the next event. Which this time just so happens to be Japanese Championship. The first race is at Fuji Speedway 90s layout. So let's see how I do. Starting off strong, as this doesn't seem to be a very competitive lineup. Immediately, I managed to easily out-accelerate the red RX-7, and then on the braking zone, I managed to overtake the RX-8, R34, and NSX. However, the R34 managed to overtake me back. But once again, this is the 90s layout, so there is really nothing stopping me from doing this shortcut and claiming the win that easily. Seriously, I don't understand what makes these Fuji Speedway 90s races so difficult for everyone else. Either way, with my easiest first place in history, I am already 4 points ahead of second place. And that means I get to earn 7,500 credits for the said win. The second race is at Tsukuba Circuit. The first corner came around and it went smoothly. But unfortunately for me, I was unable to overtake anyone. But that's entirely okay, as I managed to overtake the red RX-7 on this corner. After that, I attempted to overtake the blue NSX of Streakses, but failed. Though I really hope this isn't the exact same blue NSX as in episode 4. Either way, I tried to overtake it again and succeeded this time. However, I was unable to overtake the RX-8 before the second lap began. But thankfully that didn't mean I was unable to overtake it on the second lap though. And then after taking the podium, it took me a while to catch up to the Impreza, but once I did, it was very easy to overtake it. And heading into the third lap, it doesn't really seem like I am able to catch up to the R34 Skyline. I mean, I was able to catch up to it, but overtake? Nah. Or at least that was the case until I made it to this corner and managed to overtake it, but then it overtook me back as I made a mistake. Fortunately for me, however, the R34 made a mistake as well, allowing me to overtake it again, and this time easily keep my set position. Meanwhile, further in the back, it looks like the NSX successfully managed to overtake the Impreza and was off to overtake the R34 now. Thankfully, the R34 Skyline was able to stay ahead of it and made sure it did not get overtaken. And thanks to that, staying ahead of them was way easier as a result. And I also think it's easy to guess where I am at the point standings. Earning another 7,500 credits, which is definitely gonna be useful later. The third race is at Tokyo Route 246 Reverse. Immediately, the AI leaves me behind because they're way faster acceleration-wise, even though the 400R has way more power. Either way, the first braking zone is where things take a turn as I overtake both the RX-7 and the RX-8. I immediately catch the NSX as well and also successfully overtake it. Now, I do know that I used drive-in, that makes me look bad, but I do not care. The next corner came around and I managed to easily overtake the Impreza. And me not braking on this section allows me to catch the R34 Skyline no problem. But it wasn't until this corner that I managed to catch it and notice this wall that I can easily grind. And overall, that is pretty much everything that happened. On my end anyways. Heading into the second lap, the blue NSX managed to easily catch the Impreza and the R34. But it wasn't until the NSX made it to this braking zone again on the third lap, where it bonked into the Impreza, managed to overtake the R34, and because it bonked the Impreza, it went wide, allowing it to take the second place. And from that point onwards, this is when streaks really started to make things more difficult. But the fact that he follows the non-existent FIA rules and I don't allows me to still stay ahead of him. And you guessed it, still win the race. Just like that, the NSX is becoming my biggest rival of the championship. Either way, I earned my well-deserved 7,500 credits. The fourth race is at Twin Ring Motegi Road Course. Finally, I'm free from the East Layout's clutches. Either way, the AI's superior acceleration was really starting to show here. Now, I was able to catch back up to them somewhat on the braking zone, but it wasn't enough to really overtake anyone. I also caught back up to them on this next braking zone, but still, not enough to overtake anyone. And after I overtook the red RX-7 on this section, the inevitable was going to happen. I easily overtook the NSX, RX-8, and Impreza. Not just that, but the R34 Skyline was also unable to make it through this section before me. And after doing that, I was easily able to chill and listen to the absolute banger of a soundtrack that is 777. I know that makes me sound like a vibe out, but oh well. Either way, if you're wondering, no, that is not the only shortcut you can do on this track. This one I successfully learned to do in No Money Challenge. And even though streaks already climbed up to second place, it doesn't even matter in this case because the two shortcuts that I kept doing just gave me a enormous lead over literally everyone in the race. Allowing me to cruise to the finish line, yeah, no one cares. Not only earning insert number here points in the standings, but also earning insert number here credits. The fifth and the final race is at Suzuka Circuit. Immediately, I nearly overtook the RX-7, but then it decided to out-accelerate me with its superior acceleration. But something that it doesn't have is superior driving. And that alone allows me to overtake the RX-8, RX-7, and the NSX. It was such a good overtake that for a moment I forgot that I can do a shortcut on this section. And that smaller, but still noticeable shortcut allowed me to overtake the R34 Skyline. And let's just say the rest of the lap was just me struggling to overtake the Impreza, until I made it to this corner, which you can easily cut, allowing me to claim first yet again, but not without a worry in the world. But before I get into that, here is the shortcut I was talking about earlier. Anyways, the reason I said that is because the Impreza keeps going wide into the sand traps constantly, which allowed the NSX to slowly but steadily catch up to it. But eventually, Streaks' NSX was able to easily overtake Bro. Rest in peace to the Impreza. And ever since that incident with the Impreza, the NSX was just slowly but steadily catching up to me with its superior acceleration. And even with my superior driving and shortcuts, the NSX was closing in the gap quick. And out of worry that the NSX was gonna eventually catch me, I shortcut this corner one last time, successfully making sure the True Blue Corporation did not take me out, allowing me to financially recover from buying the Chevrolet SSR last episode, and earned an additional 35,000 credits for winning the championship, allowing my bank account to go back up to 100,000+ credits. And yeah, that's Japanese championship. Anyways, let's see what we get as a prize car, even though I already know it's gonna be some sort of Japanese race car that doesn't even come in yellow. Yup, called it. As expected, it's not a car that comes in yellow. Useless. And that's about it for today. I don't really have that much else to say, so yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in episode 9.